Wowee, it's certainly been a long time since we've got to make a car video, so I want to talk about some Burst Protocol action today, so you guys should definitely make sure you smash the living crap out of that subscribe button so you guys, don't miss out on more content. So right now, we are missing, I believe it's the 5 last filler cards from Burst Protocol. I think it's 3 traps and 2 effect monsters at this point, which is nothing too crazy. This morning we got the Fallen of Albaz support, which is wonderful, man. If you haven't looked at the Fallen of White and the Ecclesia of the Black Dragon, you should probably look those 2 cards up, because Konami really did feel like they saved the best for last. Also, there's no Dominus trap card in this set, which I think we're taking a break from the Dominuses. Instead, this set they pumped out the Forbidden Crown, which the big thing to look at is going to be this weekend, because this is when things are going to truly get interesting, because this is when this set will go legal in Japan. So, I mean, I'll be doing as much meta coverage next week on this as I possibly can, because I am a very curious lad. I am very curious to know how Forbidden Crown's going to shape up. I'm very curious to see how this Dragon Link stuff that we got, all of the Burst Protocol headliners with the Link 5 Dragon. And also, to a degree, I'm curious to see how we're going to see the topological Link 5 interacting with Malice. Malice is in a really bad place, at least for us. And I know that getting that Link 5 for us in the TCG is a very, very exciting thing. I actually do want to see how that's going to go. There's also the question of the Rescue Ace and the Exo Sister support. Now, you guys, let's all call it what it is. In comparison, the Rescue Ace support is very bad in comparison to the Exo Sister, but it doesn't make the Rescue Ace support entirely bad. I've seen, if you combine them with Mitsurugi, I think Lithium did a video on it this week, that you could do some pretty crazy, stupid lines with the deck, which, sure, but it means I have to go dust off Mitsurugi cards, and I have to incorporate it into that, and that's not really what I want. Now, Exo Sister, on the other hand, Exo Sister got their overwrite negate, which was something that we needed to see. We also needed something in the Exo Sister department to basically trigger to make all of our cards be able to be 1 card exceeds. And Konami, I think, did a banger job with this set in that front. So, yeah, I am a big fan of the Exo Sister power-ups, man. They did, I think, by far one of the best potential upgrades that they could do for a deck like that. You know what I mean? Because Exo Sister, up until this point, I mean, you had... Oh, my friend tells me that they had issues playing through 2 hand traps. Now, evidently, with the new support, you can, I guess, just blaze through 2 hand traps. And that's kind of interesting, honestly. I mean, did Exo Sister... Did they really need that? I mean, yes, but I guess this also means that, we're not going to get any more. Are we done with Exo Sister support now? Because it kind of stinks if we are. Because, I mean, I feel like we took the support that we would have had last year, and they just dumped it further ahead, which means for Blazing Dominion, I can't really think of any support that we would get for the Tactical Tri-Deck unless they're going to give us 2 more cards, which I guess is a possibility. I mean, that's more support than Evil Twins and the other potential decks got. Is that necessarily fair? I mean, no, not entirely, but I think Rescue Ace and Exo Sister players would be happy. At least, you got new boss monsters support. You got major consistency upgrades, at least in the form of, what you could do. The Magnet Warrior support being the rock support, and then the Gradius stuff. First of all, Magnet Warriors probably end up being good in Genesis, to some degree. I mean, I can't imagine that's going to be a terrible scenario, right? As an upcoming Genesis player, I think you're going to enjoy that. Also, speaking of Genesis, When we get the next Genesis announcement for a ban list, I am going to be running a tournament for it. It'll have pricing and things like that, all the way up through like Burst Protocol. So we will, you will get the chance to see, because usually the first month of sets, they tend to like to do this little thing of, at least judging by the first pattern. It seems like, these decks will be unpointed. You'll get the chance to play through them for the first event. So I'll be very curious to see, how Burst Protocol will kind of line up in the world of Genesis. It's kind of like a limbo-y format, but it'll be some interesting test data, to say the least. I know there's a lot of people that want to play Dark Lords. There's a lot of people who want to play the Genesis. There's also a lot of people that want to play the Exo Sisters support. Not really going to be able to play Rescue Ace because, Link 4, haha, hee hee, but it's okay. You'll get an opportunity to kind of see that. That'll probably be, I'm hoping November we get a point update at least, and that way, we get some time to get Genesis format a little bit shifted around and see some excitement on that front. Outside of the big cards in Burst Protocol, the Forbidden Crown, the Exo Sister, a lot of the headliners. The question is this set going to be a good one, or is it going to be a shelf warmer? I think the fact that they printed the Fallen of Albaz support, which, as of right now, I still think that the Ecclesia and the Fallen of Albaz are both very important cards to the deck. I think that, they do their thing, but I can't imagine that they're going to be more than one-ofs. So even if they choose to print these in higher rarities, you're not going to get bullied really too hard on that front of having to pick those up, because, they'll just be one-ofs. And, I do bring up the fact that this weekend we'll have tournament data, we'll have an opportunity to see where things are going. So this will be the weekend that you'll be able to go, hey, do we need to aim to pick up Burst Protocol? The set drops in February at this point. So you've got the rest of October, November, December, and January. You're still on basically a 3-month timer to decide if you want to save your funds for this. I think this is actually like the first time that Konami's actually done something this competent, where they've given us ample, and I mean ample amount of time here to actively go, hey, you guys, you've got extra time. We've planned out all the selling points. I assume that we will get an update to the selling points here after this set fully drops. They'll probably be like more additional cards from the, the Chronicles anime. Also, the next question remains, are we done with Branded now? Have we pumped out everything that we wanted to from the Branded storyline? Because Charmer technically starts in January, and that's where Blazing Dominion should be dropping. So that means we should be done with Branded in terms of all of the story stuff, I feel like. And if there is an opportunity that we're necessarily not ready at that stage, I don't know. It feels like at this point, if you're pumping out, the big boss monsters or the big support card for the post story, that, we've washed our hands with it at this point and we should be done. So I'm okay with that. I really am. I assume we'll come back and revisit Albaz later for the later half, especially like some of the battle stuff with the Bystials, because, it feels like we haven't even really touched that sort of part of it. And I wouldn't be surprised to see a new Aluber and other things on that side of the equation, maybe some more Bystials. Could you imagine more Bystials in like 2027, 2028? That'd be a horrifying thing. I'm satisfied. I really am. We needed a good set. We needed a set to warp things. I mean, there's still the Mitsurugi problem in the OCG, and for us, will these cards, even though they are major power-ups and upgrades, but will they stand up to the test of Mitsurugi? And I mean, that's That's a pretty big one. I'm not really entirely too sure right now, but only time will really tell with where we're going. So, guys, leave a comment down below. Tell me what you guys think. And you guys have a good rest of your day, all right? Stay safe.